Project New Kuwait, under the ambit of Vision 2035, places a significant emphasis on education reforms, recognizing that a well-educated population is fundamental to the nation's progress and development. These reforms are designed to modernize the education system, making it more dynamic, inclusive, and aligned with global standards and the future needs of Kuwait's economy. A key aspect of these education reforms is the enhancement of curriculum and teaching methods. The focus is on integrating critical thinking, problem-solving, and creative thinking skills into the curriculum. This approach is aimed at moving beyond rote learning to a more interactive and student-centered learning experience. It ensures that students are not only knowledgeable but also capable of applying their knowledge in real-world situations. Technology integration in education is another important dimension of the reform. The use of digital tools and platforms in teaching and learning processes is being emphasized. This includes the introduction of e-learning systems, digital libraries, and interactive learning modules. By incorporating technology into education, Kuwait aims to prepare its students for a digitally driven world. The training and development of teachers are paramount in these reforms. There is a focus on providing continuous professional development for educators, equipping them with the latest pedagogical skills and knowledge. This ensures that teachers are not just disseminators of knowledge, but facilitators of learning, capable of nurturing a generation of critical and creative thinkers. Higher education reforms are also a critical component. Universities and higher education institutions are being encouraged to focus on research and innovation. Partnerships with international universities and research institutions are being fostered to enhance academic standards and research capabilities. This not only elevates the quality of higher education in Kuwait, but also contributes to the global academic community. Vocational and technical education is receiving increased attention, recognizing its importance in a diversified economy. The aim is to provide youth with practical skills and training that are directly applicable in the job market, especially in sectors identified as growth areas in Project New Kuwait. The inclusion and accessibility of education for all segments of society is also a priority. Efforts are being made to ensure that every child, regardless of their background, has access to quality education. This includes special focus on education for girls, children with disabilities, and those from underprivileged communities. Furthermore, the education system is being aligned with the labor market needs. There is an emphasis on developing curricula that are in sync with the skills required in emerging industries and sectors. This alignment is crucial for ensuring that graduates are employable and can effectively contribute to the nation's economy. The education reforms under Project New Kuwait and Vision 2035 are comprehensive and forward-looking. They aim to overhaul the education system, making it more relevant, inclusive, and capable of preparing Kuwaiti students for the challenges of the 21st century. These reforms are essential for nurturing a knowledgeable, skilled, and innovative workforce that can drive Kuwait's development and progress in the years to come.
Hello and welcome, dear viewers, to our program New Kuwait. In this episode, we will talk about a very important subject, which is education and why it's in our National Development Plan. In this episode, we have with us special guest, technology expert, Mr. tariq2. Hello and welcome, Mr. Tariq.
Hi, Mr. Saad.
It's always a pleasure to have you here on the show to talk about technology, and in this episode, we will talk about education. We both study in the UK, so we will talk first about why it's education important to achieve our vision of a new Kuwait.
Well, I think it's very important, right? I think if you look at the transferable core skills, let's talk about core skills.
Yes.
Ultimately, to transform, you need to leverage education, and in my opinion, at least technology. Two main important drivers for change,
Yes.
Or at least successful change. So I think education will be the important factor in keeping Kuwait up to date with the educated, up-to-date workforce that can be sustainable for the future. How can it be sustainable? They're constantly being updated with the new trends, global trends, new global subjects, to again help the economy and transform it for the better.
Yes. As you know, Mr. Tariq, we have a free education for all, and this episode will talk about the importance of studying, especially studying abroad. Because studying abroad, Kuwait Ministry of Higher Education, they will ask for certain majors to be implemented in the workplace. I study abroad, you study abroad in the UK. Tell us about how special is it to study in the UK especially?
I think definitely it's important from a cultural grounding perspective. You experience all these new cultures and experiences while you're learning, and hopefully bringing those knowledge and cultural experience back to Kuwait, which makes Kuwait such a special place, right? It's such a mixed, diverse place. But I think looking at an internal perspective on education, I think also it's quite important to develop our education internally. So we do have a blend of people going abroad and people sustainably going in our local universities. We have many good local universities, private and public, as you know, and very, many good, even teachers as well. Kuwaiti teachers who teach in Kuwait. So I think having that delicate balance between external sending people for scholarship, but also supporting the internal Kuwaiti educational market.
Yes. Now, being a PhD student yourself, why do you need a PhD, especially in your field?
It's a really good question, and for me, really, it was the last step. I had the Masters in Global Innovation Management, and I thought, what could be, as they say, the cherry on top of the cake?
Yes.
And to really master my field. I need to be a specialist in this area, and to have confidence. Really, for me, it was a confidence factor.
Yes.
When you do a PhD, you go to conferences, you engage with people, you defend your research, you're defending it. And again, my research is about Kuwait and digital transformation, so I'm very patriotic and protective over my Kuwait.
Could you tell us about your PhD? What did you learn from it?
Yeah, I mean, so far, definitely I've learned how to structure my academia argument. Now, the argument being my research. Why is it worth doing? This is a question I hold very deep.
Good question, yes.
Because you have to defend it. At the end of my course, I'm going to have to defend it. I'm going to have to show its value. I'm going to have to show its creation of theory and also knowledge factor, right? How does it create knowledge in that research stream? So ultimately, what I've learned so far is how to approach a conference and defend your research area if anyone asks you about it.
Because your major is very difficult, to us at least, because technology and this digital world we are living in, it needs a lot of research because it's always changing for you. Do you feel comfortable going to this research? Because many years from, maybe less than 5 years, everything will be changed.
Correct. Yeah, you're right. The one thing that will change is the technologies, but the one thing that won't change, I think, necessarily is the people. People will still have the same views towards technology, which is it's exciting, it's changing, it's dynamic, it's agile. So in my study, at least, I'm looking at how culture impacts digital adoption. Now, technology is constantly changing. Like I said, the technology changes, the people genuinely don't. It takes a bit of a longer time scale for a person to change their minds and habits.
Do you think we need the schools in Kuwait to teach technology and this digital world?
I think I always say my personal views is digital first, right? And that being, I hold that logic towards all areas of my life. I don't have a wallet. I use Hawiyati. I use Sahel. I don't have a wallet. I use various.
You're a digital yourself.
If you ask me for my IDs, I don't have it. I just have my phone, which is allowed, obviously. The Ministry of Interior said you can have Hawiyati for verification purposes. It just streamlines my life. Streamlines it in the sense I don't have to have a bulky wallet. But back to your question, I think it's important, digital first, to have it in the schools at this age, to have the new generation to be digital ready. So when we invest in these technologies and we have a digital first world, they know it. My generation, it was the internet generation, internet revolution. I grew up with the internet. Internet is very common nature.
Do you think that you grew up with the internet? Do you think the new, this generation, which is, let's say 6 years old to 10 years old, they will be different than you?
I mean, they're growing up with AI.
It's a big something you didn't grow up with.
Yeah, I mean, certainly
they will be better than.
They will be even more advanced, and the way they interact with technologies, it will be in another level.
But it will also be negative also.
There's always negatives to everything in life.
But
It's
this-
how you utilize it.
This thing, when the people talk about it, they said this generation, they work smart. They don't work hard.
A very good analogy.
Yes.
Now, look, did my generation, your generation, have to work harder because we
I
didn't
think
have
we
AI?
work hard because when I do my essay, I do my presentation, I go to the library.
You read books.
Yeah, I read books. I stay for 10 hours.
Yeah.
And then I managed to finish about 20% of my presentation. They can do that in 2 hours. The whole
Maybe even 20 seconds with an
Yeah.
AI, a complex AI model. Okay, I understand what you're saying. Definitely there's been some shifts. It's changed the playing field. It's changed the way we view competition. But what I really want to say is that AI has to be used, in my opinion, as a tool. And as a level playing field tool. And this is where regulation comes into it, right?
Since you're an expert, do you use AI in the everyday life?
Look, I use it actually to manage my tasks. So I have a big to-do list and I have an AI assistant and I ask it to organize my meetings, my timings and so on.
Is it Siri or?
No, Siri is one of them. I tell Siri actually to turn my alarm off in the mornings when she wakes me up. But I wanted to come to an example. Do you remember a thing called Clippy in Microsoft Word? It was a paper clip. Maybe some of the audience will. It was in the 90s, and I'll explain a bit about it if I can. It's a paper clip.
Yes,
Okay? And it used to jump and dance and play games. This was AI. You could ask it questions.
And they answer.
But it was more around Microsoft Word. So it was a help function.
You ask them about the weather or how
Not the
time
weather.
is-
It wasn't that intricate at that time.
Is it like Alexa?
It wasn't. In the 90s, all it was basically pulling help information from Microsoft Word. So where is the save button?
Oh,
How
okay,
can I
okay.
press? You know.
For the Microsoft?
Yes, for the
okay,
Word.
okay.
If I showed you, I think you'd know. It's a big clip.
It's
Paper clip.
yeah, it's a softer way of AI.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not that broad like Alexa and Siri.
But still, AI was there in the 90s, but not to this extent what we have now with generative AI, the next step of AI.
Project New Kuwait, with its Vision 2035, is shaping the future of technology and innovation in Kuwait, focusing on leveraging digital transformation to drive economic diversification and enhance competitiveness. The nationwide digital roadmap is transforming the country's digital innovation market, anticipated to reach nearly 300 million KD. This transformation is particularly noticeable in the oil and gas and retail sectors, significantly boosting Kuwait's smart services and software market. The country's emphasis on digitization aims to bolster its regional standing as a financial, commercial, and cultural hub. The digital transformation is central to Kuwaiti enterprises, making the nation's economy more competitive and organizations more responsive to citizens' needs. The future business landscape in Kuwait is expected to undergo radical changes driven by intelligent technologies. Early adopters of artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, advanced analytics, and blockchain in Kuwait are poised to enhance business competitiveness and catalyze transformations across the economy, society, and environment. Kuwait's commitment to expanding both digital and physical infrastructure supports its Vision 2035 agenda, with significant investments in cloud services, digital transformation initiatives, and infrastructure projects. This is evident in the collaboration with major technology players like Oracle, Microsoft, and Google Cloud. For instance, Oracle's project with the Kuwait Military Medical Command integrates the Oracle Healthcare Medical Information System to enhance medical services management. Microsoft supports Kuwait's digital transformation with cloud computing services, and Google Cloud has partnered with the Kuwaiti government for a digital transformation roadmap across governmental entities and key state-owned enterprises. These partnerships and investments are pivotal in transitioning Kuwait into a digital society. The Microsoft Smart Government Summit and other initiatives highlight the country's ambition to become a smart government, showcasing cloud-powered technologies to improve e-services in the public sector. The incorporation of IoT and M2M technologies in infrastructure projects like the National Railway Network and the Al Mutlayy City development, which is set to become a smart city, underscores the significance of robust ICT infrastructure in supporting Kuwait's digital transformation goals. Digital services and technologies have been crucial in driving economic recovery and fostering sustainable development, especially in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. The emphasis on digital innovation and sustainability in the new Kuwait 2035 vision is echoed in the introduction of mobile virtual network operators (MVNOs) in Kuwait's technology market, offering many expansion opportunities and underscoring the country's commitment to economic diversification and private sector development. Project New Kuwait's Vision 2035 is heavily invested in the future of technology and innovation. Through significant investments in digital infrastructure, partnerships with global technology firms, and a focus on intelligent technologies, Kuwait is well positioned to transform into a leading digital society, fostering economic growth and sustainable development.
Since you are a PhD student, what do you think about Kuwaiti students here in terms of education? Because I know you know Dr. Anwar Al-Harbi. Anwar Al-Harbi is famous in Kuwait for this matter. Tell us about what do you see here in Kuwait?
Look, mashallah, we have a lot of smart Kuwaitis who want to learn, who are hungry to learn and make a difference to Kuwait. Working in the private sector, I've seen this all around me. And this is all normally based on a good education, right? An engaging education. And, not all of them have had necessarily been abroad and studied abroad. Some of them have studied in Kuwait and they've come out very successful. We have a lot of fintech startup entrepreneurs who are Kuwaiti talent, homegrown.
Yes.
They studied here, grew up here, and now their solution is across the Khalij, some of these solutions. So, high quality.
Yeah, let's talk about loving your job.
Yes.
I never met a technology, let's call them
Enthusiast?
enthusiasts. Yeah, thank you. I was going to say something else.
Yeah.
That is not in love with what they do. You must love what you do because it's very difficult.
Of course.
So in Kuwait, we have these enthusiasts.
Yeah, enthusiasts.
Yes, you call them that. I call them, it don't matter.
No problem.
So these people, we need them in Kuwait. We need them in our education.
Yes.
But I don't see them a lot, actually.
So what I call these people is champions of change, heroes. Like heroes in the sense that they're holding a flame, and that flame is the education and transforming education, normally through digital, right? Because we can also speak about the digital side of education, which is interesting since COVID. But the change champions, and they're everywhere. And education sector is no different. People, promoting positive digital change in education, how we get education. For example, COVID was the trigger for a digital education, online. And they have these programs now called MOOCs. And MOOC stands for, it's a funny word, MOOC, but it stands for Mass Open Online Education Communication, I believe. And what these are basically online mass platforms where students go online and study their course.
So in terms of these funny words and funny terms, we don't mind them actually because we need to, even in the Ministry of Information, we have the IT department. They know what they're doing. We need the technology in everyday life. So here in Kuwait, and especially in these ministries, we need a team of, I don't know if we can call them technicians.
Yes, you can call them, technicians. Right.
Information technology.
Yes.
Information technicians.
Yes.
Do we have enough, do you think?
Look,
do we need an army of IT?
Look, I think you can definitely, the more the better, correct? But also the quality matters, right? Because you can have so much of one thing, but when you gauge in the quality, you need the quality. So I go back to education quality, and we have that here in Kuwait. We have new universities.
It's not easy to be an information technician.
I mean, look, it requires definitely a mindset.
Of course.
It requires an education infrastructure, which, as I was saying, these small universities or technical colleges are popping up now, all focused on technology. In Kuwait, we are bringing a global level of education sustainably here in Kuwait.
Yes.
To the point, maybe in the future, we might not even need to send many people abroad because we'll have the facilities and the education infrastructure here in Kuwait.
Do you think people, the Ministry of Education should force people to go into this field?
I mean, I wouldn't say force, I say incentivize, right? Because humans don't like change. This is normal. If I tell you to ask me a question in a different way you're not used to, you're probably, it's change. You're not used to that.
How can we do that?
How can it's incentivize?
How can we give them the incentive that come here, we'll give you a lot of money, is it?
I mean, money is always, a good one. Money or food is always a good one. But I think more in this act of change, incentivize through change. So if you study in Kuwait through this university or college, you can be a stakeholder in the change of Kuwait.
Okay.
Show them how.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
How good is it to feel when you've done a project anywhere or done something yourself and you can say, I was part of that change.
Yeah.
My effort was part of that.
Because Kuwait
change.
has, as you know, maybe you know that we have a lot of lawyers.
Yes,
we don't
correct.
need a lot more lawyers. Well, maybe we have 1 million lawyers here in Kuwait.
Yes.
Because of how easy it is to come. I'm not saying that being a lawyer is easy, but how easy it is to get into law school.
Yeah.
So actually we need more to go in the technology because of the digital world we are living here. It's scary, especially for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's that shock factor, right? We think if we were here 30 years ago and having this interview, can you imagine the technologies and the change since then? It's unfathomable. It's unfathomable.
I can't keep up with the new technology. We see it online. We see it. Actually, they can change their voice. They can take your voice and put a text by things you didn't say and send it to your boss or to your wife. And
that's why you need to be careful. And I know this has been happening in Kuwait a lot. Is these calls, these scam calls, and then you apparently responding, and then, like you said, recording your voice with AI and enhancing it, and then perhaps using it for a financial service to authorize
this
a
is what
transaction.
I am scared of.
This is what I heard.
Yeah.
But the way around this all goes back to awareness, right? If you're aware that perhaps this is a spam call from a number I don't know, or perhaps it's a bit of a fishy number because they have special numbers, they hide the numbers.
Yes.
It all goes back to awareness. And I think...
How can you raise awareness, especially for the kids and for the older people? Because they don't know what's going on. They don't know, is this a scam? Is this good for me? Can I click to this link?
Look, I think CBK, Central Bank of Kuwait, is doing a brilliant job at this. It's through their Diraya campaign.
They can get into your phone, actually.
They can.
Yeah.
They're through messaging, through SMS messaging.
Yes.
If you respond the wrong thing and reveal data and information, yes. But going back to the CBK discussion on financial scams and frauds, they're doing campaigns. Campaigning and awareness is the way forward. I'm seeing great campaigns from the CBK and various banks on don't answer this suspicious message. Don't provide OTPs if it's not from this link or our direct. And they're doing a good job.
Actually,
it takes time for awareness. They're doing a brilliant job, and it takes time for awareness.
Thank God we don't hear it a lot here in Kuwait, and I think they are doing tremendous job.
Yes.
Mr. Tariq, thank you so much for coming to the show. That was Mr. Tariq Al-Sharhan, and with that we conclude our episode. Thank you for watching.